Shane Phelan, this is becoming a very complex and convoluted court case, but largely speaking, what is all this about, the battle for Lord of the Dance?
Yeah, so essentially, it's a battle between Michael Flatley, who created Lord of the Dance 3 decades ago, I suppose in the aftermath of his success with Riverdance, and a company which was set up and hired, I suppose, essentially hired by him to run the show in 2024. Um, Michael Flatley has, in recent years, I suppose, had a very turbulent period in terms of his businesses, an ill-fated venture into cinema, a whiskey brand that maybe hasn't done as well as he would have liked, and various debts have arisen from these things, and it's I suppose it's in that kind of nexus that we have this row has emerged where a situation has been created where the directors of Switzer essentially say that Michael Flatley has surrendered control to the intellectual property in Lord of the Dance, surrendered it to the company because of his financial situation, that he basically did so in return for a loan. And they say, we control this show now. We have the rights to the royalties and to run it as we see fit. And Michael Flatley should be off the pitch. And Michael Flatley has a very different view, of course. He says, look, I'm the beneficial owner of this company. I don't know what you're on about when you say I signed over the intellectual property rights. And that's kind of it in a nutshell, or as simply as it can be put, Fionnán. And since January, this row has been rumbling in the courts, in particular in Belfast, the Northern Ireland High Court. But there's also limbs of this dispute that are now trickling out in the High Court in Dublin. There's a dispute there between Michael Flatley and a former solicitor who's meant to have witnessed various agreements that Michael Flatley is supposed to have signed. And also there's some suggestion that this will also, or an element of this will end up before an intellectual property court at the High Court in London as well.
Okay, and meanwhile, there's a Lord of the Dance World Tour going on, and disputes over who owns music rights. This dispute, I just say, it's in two courts at the moment, possibly a third, but in the background, we're then hearing a lot of detail about meetings and negotiations that have been going on for quite some time now, and they've become pretty acrimonious.
There was what I can only describe as an extraordinary affidavit filed by a former fraud squad officer who is now working for Michael Flatley. This is a chap called Dennis O'Sullivan. He's now working as a forensic fraud and asset tracing consultant, and he's been brought in by Michael Flatley and Niamh Flatley, Michael's wife. They're trying to understand how he's so indebted. His debts have spiraled from about 4 million euros in 2022 to around 17 million now, and they're saying they can't understand this, and they're looking for answers and reasons as to how this happened. And Mr. O'Sullivan, he swore this affidavit, and he more or less said that, look, this huge spiral in debt, it coincides with the Flatleys' business arrangements being linked up with those of Switzer. In particular, there's mention of a financial advisor, a man called Des Walsh. He's based in the Isle of Man, but he became Michael Flatley's financial advisor in 2022, and he was up until the end of last year. And Michael Flatley is basically claiming now that Des Walsh has taken advantage of him, that Des Walsh has become a shadow director of this company, Switzer, and is at the heart of this dispute. So you have these rather extraordinary allegations being made by Michael Flatley, and also this forensic fraud and asset tracing consultant, Dennis O'Sullivan, including a meeting last November where various parties involved, including directors and people associated with Switzer, were at this meeting, and there was a kind of an effort to look at the bank accounts and kind of figure out how have we got into the situation that we're in at the moment. And among the allegations made by Mr. O'Sullivan was that one of the Switzer's directors, a lady called Fionnán Sheahan, repeatedly called Michael Flatley an effing C at a meeting. Mr. O'Sullivan said that this was particularly distressing because Michael Flatley was seriously ill at the time and required an oxygen mask throughout the meeting. And he also claims that Des Walsh broke down and wept at this meeting. And Mr. O'Sullivan said he regarded these displays of deliberate theatrics designed to obstruct his access and the access of, there's a couple of other experts that Michael Flatley has brought in, distract them from getting access to the company's financial records. He also said that, that in 46 years, I suppose, of professional life, he had never encountered obstruction of the kind that he had faced since Michael Flatley brought him in this matter. He said that he had been met with abuse, false allegations, outright dishonesty from directors of Switzer Consulting and those acting on the company's behalf. So here's a man, expert brought in, trying to figure out, oh my God, how has Michael Flatley become so indebted so quickly since he became involved with this company and this financial advisor, Des Walsh? And he's saying he's being obstructed at every single turn.
So, meanwhile, Shane, we have the world tour underway, a show in Croatia, and it's all quite complicated about who exactly is running it and who has the right to run it.
Yeah, so Michael Flatley contends that he has the right to run it, that undertakings were given by Switzer on February the 4th. Now, this was ahead of a show in Dublin, which went ahead in the Tree Arena. Our listeners will remember that there was, it was unclear nearly up to the wire as to whether that show in the Tree Arena would go ahead. Switzer said it was cancelled. Michael Flatley said it wasn't, and in the end it went ahead under Michael Flatley's direction. But then fast forward to the world tour is underway. We've got this arena in Zagreb, 20,000 seater arena. Most of the tickets sold, generating about 730,000 euros in gross proceeds. And Michael Flatley goes into court in Belfast earlier this week, and he says Switzer has hijacked this show, that they're operating in breach of the undertakings they're given. He alleges they wouldn't hand over a stage, set, and costumes and so on. And he gets new injunctions, but the show goes on, and it goes on under the control of Switzer, not Michael Flatley. And then just as that show is about to get underway, another extraordinary development. Two prominent businessmen come in and I suppose you could say ride to the rescue of Michael Flatley.
Yeah, so you've got literally the classic white horse, and these two, they're basically providing him with a bailout to get him out of these difficulties.
These two businessmen have formed a company, Maurice, Regan and Luke Homer. They formed a company, and they've gone and they've bought the music rights to the show. So what does this actually mean? Well, they've probably paid a pretty penny for it, because we're talking about something that has a value of millions of euro here. But also, if you hold the music rights, then it means somebody else can't run the show, or it should mean somebody else can't run the show without your permission. You have to give them a license to use the music rights. So this would appear to be a fairly decisive development in all of this, a trump card played by Michael Flatley's side, which is basically that my allies now own the music rights to the show. So Switzer, you guys can take a hike. You can't run the show without the music rights.
Okay, and we'll watch where it goes from here because it continues to go through the courts. Shane Phelan, thanks for joining us.